Hello, everybody. Welcome to another listen along. I'm your host, William, and I'm joined today by Carol, Carolyn of Carol, who I need to swap over audio sources for. Now that I just remembered that, can't quite start without a hiccup, can I? And now you should be able to hear Carolyn. Hello, Carolyn.
Hi.
Cool, great. Well, thank you all for being here. If you've never done one of these before with me, well, Carolyn has. We've done one before actually. So this is the second one that we're doing. But if you've never been to one of these before, it is an album listening thing. So we're basically doing album commentary. So we will listen to the entirety of the album, which is More Than a Goodbye by Carol. And we will listen to it start to finish, no stopping. We'll be talking about it. And I'll be getting Carolyn's thoughts the entire time. And I've done several of these before. So if you're interested in that, if you watch this one and you're like, that was cool, I wonder what it would sound like to get commentary from Origami Angel for like two of their records, because I've done that with Ryland, I've done Pink Shift, I've done Angemily, I've done Nightlife, I've done a whole slew of other artists, and I'm very fortunate to have them come on and give their thoughts and the way that the albums were created and where they came from and the process that went into making all of this wonderful art that I am getting to share with people. So feel free to check those out. There's a playlist. It's all on the Second Glass Beach channel on YouTube, and that is called the Second Glass Beach channel on YouTube, and you can find all of them in a playlist, which I will type now in the Twitch chat. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you've found it already. But if you're watching this on Twitch, I'm going to give you a bit.ly. It's bit.ly/listen along YT. That's a capital L, capital A, capital YT. And there you go. So if you want to check that out, you can. I have done, this might be like close to my 50th one.
Woo!
Yeah, it's very close. It's very close. So I'm excited. I'm going to pull up a little graphic here to get us started. Streaming info. So first, I visit the band's website or Bandcamp. I encourage you to purchase the album and some merchandise if you can. Carolyn does have a physical CDs and cassettes and everything. So I will nudge you in that direction if you do have the means. I really appreciate it when you support the artists who are on these streams, because like I'm showing you their music for a reason. I really like it, and I think it's important to support art from the artists that you love and you appreciate. So we're gonna do that, and then after, we're going to get into the actual streaming and listening portion, which is me encouraging you now to open a streaming provider of your choice. I'll be using the Green Music app, which I'm not happy about, but I am. It's just how I track all of my artists, but you can use whatever app you use to listen to music as long as this album is on there. And the album, again, is More Than a Goodbye by Carol, which Carol's really hard to find
I'm
on
so hard to find.
on
But
streaming.
you
So
have to type the
type,
titles.
type in the album title, More Than a Goodbye with Carol. If you type exclamation point listen in the chat right here, like literally legit. Thank you for putting the exclamation point listen in the chat there. If you do that, the first link is to the big link that Carolyn has for all of the places. It'll take you to streaming, it'll take you to Bandcamp, it'll take you to all sorts of things. But the second link in that is directly to the Bandcamp, where you can check out the physicals and Carol's Bandcamp. And then the third link is a link to this album on the Green Music app. Unfortunately, I don't have links to the others. But if you use like the Fruit with the Bite Taken Out of It, or the Jay-Z one, or Deezer, or however you listen to music, I find it there. Again, last time here, More Than a Goodbye by Carol. And you do have to type in the album title, because I would be shocked if you found Carol just by typing in Carol.
Would be so hard.
I
Yeah.
follow Carol on the streaming provider that I use. I've like physically clicked the follow, and I still can't find Carol just by typing in Carol.
It's
So
so hard. I've considered changing it many a time for this reason, but I'm honestly also just like it's fine.
yeah, hey, you know what? At this point,
this
You,
point,
at this point, you do what you got to do.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So I all of this build up to say I won't be playing the music live on stream. So that's why I'm having you pull up a streaming provider. So we'll do a sync. We'll all sync up. I'll do a 3, 2, 1 go. That wasn't it, but that's what it's going to sound like when I do. And we will all hit play on go. You'll be synced to me. I'll be synced to you. We'll all be synced to Carolyn, and we'll get the listening going. So again, exclamation point listen in the Twitch chat. If you're watching this on Twitch, we'll pull up the links to listen to and purchase and otherwise follow Carolyn here. So let me get this streaming info out of here, and then let's go to a screen where we can actually see Carolyn. And let's hope that this is working properly. Here we go. Hooray! It is working properly. Hi, Carolyn.
Hello.
You're on stream now. Isn't that fun?
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have your Bandcamp pulled up at the moment. And I also wanted to take a second here to say hi to some people. If they're still here, we have some first time chatters and stuff in the chat. We Danny and Crispy Korean Dog. Flubble Doodle, hello. Lori D official, hello to everybody. Not Canadian Moose here again. Not Canadian Moose has been here for almost every listen along that I can possibly think of. We got Jacob Village here, and I think that's it for now. That was one of my considerations when picking a name. Well, gotcha. Okay, cool. Great. With that out of the way, and if more of you are here just lurking, hello to you as well. And if you're on YouTube and you're watching this portion of it, hi to you. Let's get into this. So you have cassettes, I see.
Yes.
And cassettes, CDs, buy a compact disc. You also have this thing called the Worldwide Heart Flames hat.
Yeah, the hats. They're really fun. I have a t-shirt too. I'll put it up.
A t-shirt as well?
Yeah, but I didn't put it up yet. I'm so
you
disorganized right now.
haven't put it up yet. I was like, I don't see it.
No, I will.
Is it of the same design?
It's actually a little different. It's a different artist who did it, but
oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
I just got them last week, which is why they're not up yet. But
got you.
Yeah.
Or do you ship out your own merch, or do you have someone else do that?
My tapes, Dustin helps me with tapes and CDs. But if anyone ever gets merch like hats or t-shirts plus CDs, I do the CDs with the hats. And so anything that's like clothing, I do pretty much. And sometimes I slip a CD in if they also get it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so we'll
Wow.
half and half, which is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since we've handled our own merch personally, just because it gets to be a lot. Yeah,
it does. You gotta like tell people online, like, I'm going to the post office tomorrow, so if you want one,
yeah.
you gotta tell me on Instagram right now, because I
gotta reach out now. Reach out right
every
now.
day. Yeah, I'm not gonna go every day for you. So yeah, but
yeah. We got another person here in chat. Maybe Haley says hello. And looking here at your album cover, you wanna talk a little bit about this. So you consistently, if I'm remembering correctly, did you use a photograph for the last album or the EP? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did, and it's pretty similar. I get made fun of a lot for white dress pastoral setting. That is a meme that has been surfing.
You have
I'm wearing a dress, but
it's very sweet. Like it's funny because like just like the small amount that I know you kind of like through doing these streams and like following you on socials and seeing you like play shows on like other live streams through Disposable America or whatever, that sort of stuff. You are obviously very sweet. And yeah, you have like some very positive vibes, but like this album cover, for example, you toe the line of like, this is either like very sweet sort of, just like free spirit, I'm hanging out with some flowers, or like could be midsummer, like sort of vibes. You know what I mean?
Yo, yeah, I was pretty tired this summer when we took that summer, not this summer, but the summer we took this in 2021.
You were tired in 2021? Why? What was going on?
But I was working at the farm that this picture is in. So I think I must have worked all day, gone home and taken a shower, and then met Maria, who took the picture at the farm. And it was a little like scary, like scarecrow vibes.
Mm,
That one in particular. And I think that's kind of fun because yeah, I like scarecrows.
yeah. I also I mean like I really do like this photo a lot. Like it's really
Thank
great.
you.
And
Thanks.
the person, what was the person's name again who did it?
Maria, they live in like outside of Boston and they're a really amazing photographer. And they took like pretty much every photo we've used for like this whole thing. And
Wow,
we did two
great.
different shoots at the same flower farm that I was working at for that season. Um, yeah, and I pretty much was like in my head kind of like I really wanted to work that flower farm and I really, really, really wanted the pictures to be taken there.
Wow,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Is this the same? Were you working at this flower farm when we did the last listen along? Because I remember you
I
talking about
was.
that. Yeah. Okay.
I was.
I'm like remembering flower farm. I'm like, okay, that's tracking with me.
Yes, I definitely was when we did this. Hmm.
Okay, cool. Do you still work
Yeah.
there?
No, I still work in flowers, but I live in New York right now. So
Oh,
little different,
wow.
a little different,
A
but
little different. Yeah.
I work for
Like
a
you live in
florist here.
New York? Like,
Yes, I live in Brooklyn.
wow.
I moved
Okay.
there after that season was over at the farm because I was in the middle of nowhere and I couldn't like access a band or like any other musician. So I was like,
Yeah.
I have to go. And I was living at home, so and for a while.
That's
So I
right. I
just
remember that too. Okay. This is all coming back to
yes,
me.
I was
Maybe I
like in
should have
my
just
childhood
yeah,
bedroom.
I should have just
Also.
watched the rewatched the other listen along to prepare for this one.
No, yeah, not that much has changed. I mean, I moved here and but I still work. I work for a florist here,
Okay,
and
cool.
it's like a lot of farm based things. Like not right now because it's winter, but all summer and spring and fall we get things from farms. So they hired me here because I had that like whatever experience. So
Yeah.
still in flowers. This is actually like my
Still in
2 year
flowers.
anniversary of flowers as this album is coming out, which is cool.
Oh, okay,
Um,
cool. Wow.
yeah,
And it's been quite a while since you recorded this, right?
yeah, 2 years, pretty much exactly.
That's what I
To the
thought.
date that it
Yeah.
came out, we wrapped recording it, and there was a lot of other things that happened in between to like me to put on the record and like obviously getting it mixed and mastered and whatever. But it did sit for like pretty much a year,
Wow.
which was
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I like was going crazy. Um, yeah,
I mean, I mean, I know that's like that's usually how it goes. Like the even
yeah,
with
you
like
know.
the yeah, bigger indie labels or whatever, bigger indie labels or I just know like for ourselves or like friends of ours, I know people who have finished a record and they're like, "Cool, can't wait to release this a year from now or something." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Oh, that seems like so much cuz for our first record, we were like we finished it and then just put it out because it was like a full independent release, and now we're doing the second record and we have a label and everything, and things are a little things are a little different now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, well, let's move on. I'm going to go to the listening screen now, so we can I'm going to give a call out to anybody who's watching, or if you're checking this out on YouTube or something, then pull up that streaming provider now. Darn it. You absolutely must pull up your streaming provider. Again, I'll be using the Green Music app. You can see at the bottom of the screen that I have the current timestamp and the song that we're on. So at any point during the stream, if you get off or anything like that, you can just check that out and you can catch back up, whatever. Over here to my left, I believe, what's happening? We're going to be listening to music. The music won't be on stream. Pull up the song, the album, and listen along yourself. And again, the current song and timestamp at the bottom. So I'll give you all a little while to do that. Is there any like final things that you want to say, Carolyn, before we get into this? Like anything you want to do to preface the album or what?
Um, yeah, I mean it's my first album, which is really cool. I've like released EPs before, but this is definitely like the first full body of like cohesive songs. I was writing like all really in the same chunk of time, with the same group of people helping me like play and produce them. And I'm really proud of it. It's been a really long time, but I do feel like really excited about this one. I think, you know, more than anything I've ever made. So,
Oh, I
yeah,
love that.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I you should be proud. It's like it's really
thank
special.
you.
I think it's very sweet. It like showcases your voice and your lyrics like very well again.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked about this record too compared to your EP is it's got like more traditional like full band arrangements.
Hmm.
And I've always liked what you did with your sort of like sparser like orchestral type production on like the percussion and everything on your last EP, for example. But this was like really nice too because it felt like intimate and it felt like I was in a barn like watching a band like play with like a singer just like you know putting everything out there, and it was very intimate and very sweet. And I just really appreciate it a lot. It sounds really great. I think that whoever mixed and mastered it did incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we put a lot of work into it, and it was pretty like a pretty full-time thing because at that time there was really nothing going on. So it was like a really like special moment in time for me that I'm so I'm really so thankful for. It really like changed my life, I think, to have made this, and feels really good to be putting it out in like this way. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's like pretty much it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Well, are you ready? Do you have your streaming or however you're going to listen to the album pulled up?
I do have it up. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I have mine up as well. Oh, Not Canadian Moose says the listening screens are always super cool to see. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I always make a custom one for whoever I have on. I always use the album art, which makes it funny for when I have you on because it's just you and then you again.
Me again with longer hair.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's wonderful. It's always fun. Okay. Well, I think we should get into it. I think everybody's had their time to pull up their streaming provider if they need to. So again, I'm going to do a countdown. This is not it, but it will be 3, 2, 1, go. We will all hit play on go. And again, we won't be stopping. So start to finish. So like make sure you have smooth transitions turned off. Make sure you don't have shuffle on, all of those things. The idea is to just like be able to play this alongside the album at any point in the future and be able to listen to it like it's commentary. So that's all. Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna do the countdown for real this time. Are you ready, Carolyn?
I Let me just turn my volume on my app down just so I can like hear because we're talking over it.
Yes, yes,
Okay, I
yes.
remember this. I'm like sorry,
No, no, no. Don't worry
this is
about it.
great. I'm really glad we're doing that instead of
Yeah,
any kind of silence
yeah. And again,
having to
so
listen to this.
at any point if like I mean I very most recently a thing that I can remember is I had Moth on the artist Moth on to do
Oh
their
yeah.
like listen along with them, and there was a point where like we didn't talk for a full song. So if that ends up happening, like no worries, everybody's listening to music, so we don't have to fill the space. But if you talk the whole time because you have a lot to say, that's also great. Either way, we're good. All right, I'm pulling it up.
Okay, cool. Me
Um,
too.
okay, so this is More Than a Goodbye by Carol, and the first song is Other Room. More Than a Goodbye by Carol, and the first song is Other Room. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, this must have been the first song we played in the barn. Not recorded in a barn. But yeah. And the first song I think written on the album too.
Oh, so the first song was the first song.
Yeah, weirdly enough. I just kind of remembered that, but yeah. Um,
And I love this little turn here. You can't help yourself.
I can't. I just had to. It's like, yeah, I think we should slow it down and make it sad.
Just for a second. Yeah. Also, you do a really interesting thing with the end of this first song that I think is kind of gutsy for a first song on an album.
Oh, what is it?
Is it, if I'm remembering correctly, you fade it out, right?
I think we do. Like, so cheesy. It's like,
Hey,
weird.
I don't have a problem with it. I just like it's a tried and true way of ending a song.
This was like the kind of thing where we were jamming on this forever. Like we would just play that chord progression at the end like over and over and over and over and over. And I would do this really fun thing in the songs. This is kind of important to say, I think, but when we were playing it as a band, I would make everybody do spins, like in the barn, like spin around, like in circles, and like put their arms out and spin, and then pick up their instruments and play the song, just like how like really really dizzy. And of course, like some of it sounded so crazy. We were just like voice memoing it, but it was so fun. It was so fun. Like I highly recommend trying that
I
out.
that sounds like I yeah, that sounds horrible. Like I feel like I would get so sick.
You know, some people just do drugs, but in my band, you have to do
You
spins,
do
and you also
spins.
have to do rolls down hills and yeah.
Spins, rolls down hills. Hey, if more bands were doing spins and rolling down hills instead of drugs, I mean, we'd probably still have a lot more people around, you know?
Yeah, we
So,
probably would.
so I,
We
you
probably
know,
would.
can't knock it.
Can't knock it. Can't knock it, you know. Oh, and I think they're all singing on this too in the background with me at some point. Um,
Oh, like the higher harmonies, or is that you?
some of it's me, but I think the band is also singing it. Yeah, they are. I'm like, I made them do it.
After they just spun around a couple times and rolled down a
Yeah.
hill.
Yeah, we tried a lot of production things on this too. We did like a saxophone at one point, which like a crazy like kind
Wow.
of like yeah like mess up sax. We didn't put it on, I don't think, but I can't remember.
I mean, I don't hear it.
Yeah, I don't either unless it's really buried, but
It's super buried, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and this is Nancy's Roses Yellow.
Oh my thing is not going on it. Oh, I might be a little behind, but
Just a
whatever.
tiny bit. That's okay.
So sorry, my computer's so messed up because my Spotify is playing at work all day, so I had to switch it
Oh,
from the
sure.
office till here. Yeah,
That's
um,
okay.
I'm still in it though.
Yeah, you're in it. You get it.
Yeah,
You're not too much further behind from me, are you?
probably only like a second.
Ah, yeah, we're fine.
Well, I'm 31 seconds in.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
are you?
When you said 31, I was at about like 39, 40 ish. So,
Okay, okay. Sorry about that.
no. And this was a
Um,
single.
this was a single, which yeah, kind of an interesting single, but I don't know. I kind of feel like the song people like the most, which is cool. Um, this some of this words, the lyrics in the song are about corn.
Like
That's my
literally.
favorite part. Mhm.
Like the band Korn.
I freaking wish,
Yeah.
but no, corn the food.
Sneak in some. or stuff like that in the background
That
with
would
the
be cool.
saxophone.
Next time we will.
I gotta say, like the texture on this album already, like especially this song, is so like just pleasant and warm, and it's just like all the acoustic instruments are very, very well mixed. It feels really nice. Feels good.
Thank you. Yeah, we tried. We did a lot of work on this. We had somehow this crazy string professional, Rob Moose, who played the strings on Taylor Swift's Folklore, which is kind of a crazy, and like
Oh,
Bon Iver played on this like two of the songs on this record, which was kind of crazy that that happened, but he did
um,
it
wow,
and for free, which
that's
was
awesome.
really awesome. It was
Oh my
cool. It
gosh,
made the
yeah.
whole record really fun, but um yeah, but I think that everyone who worked on this pre that little edition did a really good job at making it really warm, and we used a pine needle or the guitar on it to make it really rhythmic, that brush sound. And we just kind of can hear it like a shuffle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we were using like the idea of the paintbrush technique, but we didn't have a paintbrush for the acoustic guitar, so we used pine needles for it. Um, and I now have a big sap stain all over my guitar, but it was worth it.
I would have trouble believing that you didn't already have some kind of a sap stain or something like
Oh my guitar
on your
from
guitar.
yeah, just playing music
Just
outside. Which is,
just from playing, yeah. Yeah. Just
okay, I'm
from
gonna
all your
skip.
floral. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
this
is
is true.
Cartwheel.
Okay, cool. I'm on it too.
Am I remembering correctly? This was also a single. This had a video, right? Or something?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
And this was like I wrote this song like a little, like almost like a waltz. This is really different than the demo of this song.
Oh, wow.
Um,
This song more than anything on the record reminds me of your previous EP.
cool. That's really interesting. Yeah, I think vocally it's like so. That's like how I wrote it, and then we kind of turned it into this like this pop song because it was that's what I
Sure.
wanted. Or like,
Yeah.
um,
There's also like almost like some kind of a drum machine vibe going on this
yeah,
song. Yeah.
yeah. We put a little 2000s breakbeat on it, which was fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love that part. Sorry. The like when it comes out of the chorus part.
that's so cool. I'm glad that you love it.
Also that acoustic melody that comes in that bum ba 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 bum ba ba ba.
Thank
I love
you.
that so much. This like little motif.
Thank you. That was in the demo, but it got accentuated by yeah, by Jack Clues playing guitar. He definitely took it and ran with it.
I think something that's working really well is just like how high and bright your voice is like really contrasted well by like how dark the tones of the acoustic instruments are. Like the darkness in those instruments is really being brought out, and I think it's a nice, like really nice balance.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you think that.
It's good every time.
I'm
How
glad
could
you love
you
it.
like
Yeah, this song I wrote in like a this like random little chapel that's like one room in my town that they just like gave me the keys to, and I would just go there and play. which was pretty sick.
Wow. I
Um,
guess that's the benefit of like being in a kind of smaller area
yeah,
or something. I don't know if you'd
it
get
was
that in New
COVID. They
York,
were
in
yeah,
Brooklyn.
no, definitely not here. Yeah, and during COVID, they were like, "Oh, like you need a space to play, like just come in. We'll just literally like show you where the key is. You can come here whenever you want." And I was like, "Wow, thank you."
Wow.
Yeah, really cool. It's like really, really old. Honestly, kind of freaky Massachusetts vibes, but it was cool.
And this is
I'm like,
Benny. Oh, Seventh Cut is saying loving this album.
ah, thank you.
I thought you might like it. That's a friend of mine who I
So
don't think
cool.
has been to a listen along before.
Oh my gosh, cool.
Mm. Your lyrics feel very like stream of consciousness. Is that like how you write, or is it actually like just feels like that and it's really meticulous?
No, it's pretty stream of consciousness. I think a lot of times I would definitely start with words or phrases. At this point, I was just like really sitting with my guitar a lot, so I think I just wrote this like at my guitar. But a lot of times right now, I'll just be like singing on this, like kind of in the street. And that sounds weird, or like alone at work or something, and voice memo it and just tap so I know how the words are supposed to go with the melody. And then I'll go home and sit down with the guitar and try to figure it out.
Oh wow.
Um,
Wait, you're like tapping rhythms like without melody and then putting melody to it later, or you sometimes have melodies and then you're tapping rhythms to figure out how you want the words to go, or
yeah, kind of like, I guess I kind of already have like a melody and the words in my head. And
oh
then I'll
sure.
tap through them to make sure I kind of know
How it would go
where
to
it's
like
sitting
yeah,
to like, yeah, to chords. I guess. And that's what happens a lot now because I don't have as much time to sit down on my guitar like I did back in the day when I was just in my room with my guitar for like literally
sure.
10 hours a day, just like doing this. Um, this was probably one of the earliest songs I wrote too. Um,
After the first song?
yeah, maybe I think. And this I was really using open tunings. This whole album is when I really started to use open tunings on the guitar, like a pretty psychotic way. Every
Just
song
like
is like in a
creating your
different
own
tuning.
tunings or something? Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you play
and
live, you have to have like 9 guitars.
it's awful. I literally like have to plan the whole set around the tuning that I'm in, which is also fine. Like I don't care,
Hmm.
but people are always like, "How come you won't play the song?" And I'm like, "Because I cannot like
You're like,
make
I
it to this tuning." It's so crazy, and I can't figure it out. I just don't have the tools.
and this one is no need. On that note, that was something that like I for a long time never understood why artists, like musicians, would like change guitars like 6 times in one set, like big musicians. I'm like, why are they changing guitars for every song? Like there's a roadie who just like comes on really quick and hands off a guitar and takes one. I'm just like, what is going on? And now I'm like, oh, they're like changing tunings or like they need a different sound. I'm like, it makes more sense to me now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. I used to think the same thing when I was, yeah,
I was just like, they're just showing
not,
off.
yeah.
They're like, look at how many guitars I have.
Yeah, no, I used to think that too. And now I'm like playing and I'm like, I should bring two guitars. Maybe I could get like one of my friends to help me like chain in the middle. No, which I've never done, but I'm always like, that would be so cool and easy.
He's like, invite a friend. You're like, hey, can you put your guitar in drop C for me?
Yeah, like,
They're
please
like,
help
what?
me. I'll put you on the guest list if you can just tune my guitar in the middle of the song. No, just kidding.
We got a little country there.
Yeah, this one was written later on, towards the end of the. Wow, I haven't listened to this in I don't know how long. We play this live all the time, but it's really different live because we
Oh,
play with the cello.
wow. Okay.
Whoa, and I definitely changed the words since I've written this in the live recording, but I probably just feel a little different now.
Sure.
Um,
I think it's Jay, the main songwriter for Glass Beach, who's talked to me about how like records are a snapshot, like a
they
snapshot of
are.
the songs. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is an early. I must have only had this song written for like 3 weeks before we went to the studio to record this. So
Okay, that's gutsy. You at the moment you must have been so sure. You're like, "Yep, let's put it on there."
I was because I was writing so much, and we went into the studio for 14 days completely unrehearsed because we couldn't rehearse because it was like really like
Yes.
winter of 2021. It was COVID was so bad. We couldn't figure it out. Um,
Yeah. And this is your
so we
eyes
were
say, but yeah. So when you all got together to record the album, it was like your first time playing this song. Did you like send demos to them and they were practicing on their own or
kind of yeah, that's kind of what we did. I like played 2 click and was like
good
kind of
luck?
like good luck guys. Yeah, like it was because it was crazy because all the other times we'd met up, we like the whole demo. There's a whole almost other record of demos that we made in a different barn in Western Massachusetts, and we like took a whole almost 2 weeks to do the demos, and then we were like, okay, like let's figure out where we're gonna record this album. I made a
Wow.
friend at a studio who could get us like a really good discount, and so I just did it because I was like, I guess I'll just like this is the only time I have to do this, and I did it, you know.
Yeah.
But we didn't have time to rehearse before. And that was really pretty stressful. But it was fun. Like they actually kind of made me play a lot of these songs on my own in the end, and they were like, "We think you just sound better alone." And I was like, "Cool." So
Yeah.
that's like what we did for not this song though. The song is so produced.
Do you
But
do you usually play guitar while you sing and record them simultaneously or no?
yeah, this one I had all the vocals done. Like I made a demo and all those backing vocals were done except for that which is literally me just doing that. Because I was trying to get someone to play guitar. I was like, "Can you do that playing an instrument?" And they were like, "Why don't you just sing it?" And I was like, fine, I will. And then I just sang that, and then we put it in. And it
Great.
was fun. And it's really fun. I feel like it sounds like a dolphin, and dolphins are my favorite animal. So,
Oh, well, that's sweet. Give him a little feature.
yeah, for the dolphins.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm hearing it now more.
That's like maybe my favorite part of the whole record is that.
Wow. You know what? I would not have guessed that that was your voice.
Cool.
I'm like in love with this like boom ba ba boom ba ba boom ba ba. Just like this slow soft picking going on. Boom ba ba boom ba
Oh,
ba.
yeah. I think this is my favorite song on the record, maybe. So fun. And I was like so blindly in love when I wrote this song.
I was
Not
gonna say this
anymore.
song kind of this song sounds a little sexy if I'm being honest. Like I like
The end, I was like listening to so much crazy music. I was like, I want those like crazy pad 2000 synths, and they're like, we should like put those in, and we like did. It like kind of was a joke, but um, yeah, a happy song.
what was the tin like the
I don't know what that is. I think we just did that as a joke too, and then we were like, we can't end the song like that, so you just have to keep playing drums because it's too cheesy.
uh, and then this is more than a goodbye.
Vibe shift. This was the last song I wrote on this, and we almost put a different song in that I love that song, but we didn't record it. The other one.
Oh, sure.
But the people working with me were like, that's a really kind of like effed up song, but like that should be on the record. And I was like, yeah, it should.
Yeah.
I wrote it in one
I
night, and
oh,
it was kind of like just came out to them.
those are special when
It was
songs do that.
special. Yeah, I think it was on.
Oh, sorry, you just have just like this like soft little like quaking like shake in your voice on this song. Oh,
This also was written like 3 weeks before the record, so
wow.
which was kind of messed up too, but we did it. Boom. Oh, we did the brush thing on this too.
Mm, I hear it. Yeah.
This one. Yeah.
And I really like how sparse like the orchestration is on this one.
Thanks. I thought I was gonna go in and make this like a band song, and they were like, no. And I was like, really? Can't we make it like sound happy? And they were like, no. You just have to play this one alone. And I was like, cool. Yeah, my friend Sean Brennan did strings on this. Other
Yeah, I was
string
gonna say.
arranger.
Yeah, I really love that song.
Cute.
I'm glad that your bandmates also insisted to have it on the record.
Me too. Yeah.
And this is Anne. Question about the last song, really quick. Did the record name come from that, or did you know what the album was going to be called and then you wrote the
The
song?
the record name came from the song.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we didn't know. I didn't know what to call the record when it was done, I guess.
Yeah,
But
we never do we?
right, and then that song was kind of just like the biggest theme because I feel like the whole thing of this album that I talk about a lot is like every time I met up with this group of people during this time, I like did not know when the next time we would see each other would be because it was like a pandemic world, and we just like every single time we would say goodbye to each other, I would be like breaking down, like sobbing, kind of. Especially the first time because we spent like 2 weeks together in the summer of 2020, which felt crazy and like really risky and
Wow.
like
Yes.
yeah, and we all figured it out. I lived at home and like really wasn't seeing anyone and yeah, and then we all met up there and it was really isolated. But it was like awesome, like so fun. To have like a literally like literal escape, like kind of midsummer vibes a little bit, but and we would just like wake up really early and go swimming in the lake and bring like our coffee mugs in the car while we like drove to like it was like so fun and like listen to whatever like so
Yeah.
loud like we had so much fun just like driving by these beautiful creeks and like mountains and it was just like my ideal. It was amazing. It was like I mean the summer of 2020 was crazy. It was just like a crazy time. No one was living normally. like yeah. This song was written later too. We put a lot of the songs I wrote later in the fall on this after we did all the fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to say like you talking about your time with your friends like there? I've is that like part of the inspiration for your music videos? Because it seems like you like sort of capture, you know, people just like hanging out and being there with each other and like having a nice like easy good time kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was. The cartwheel video, we just like wanted to make like a different world, and we kind of had like that. I went back again to the flower farm this summer, and they let me make more stuff there. We had this like kind of like perfect. It just is like an idyllic place. Like it's like a crazy looking place. Especially like that day we went was so sunny and pretty. Um, but yeah, definitely it is. I was very inspired by that time. A lot of this music is about that time because that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is clear as this. And by the way, Not Canadian Moose says Anne might be my favorite on the album.
oh, I love that.
I'm gonna be straightforward with you, Carolyn. I don't think I'm gonna make it through this song.
Uh, yeah, it was a really hopeful song.
But yeah, it's like kind of the beauty of the record, you know?
Yeah, I was kind of just like letting myself like trust and stuff. Yeah. God.
I don't mean to do this to you. I'm sorry.
No, no, I'm listening to it too. I'm like, this is kind of a messed up song.
Well, yeah, but your voice is like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
I
Oh my God. That's
I was really before we started this stream, I was like, I've cried on a couple of these before, and I've just been like, you know what? I got to keep it together.
wow. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I literally cried for like 9 hours yesterday. So I feel you.
I don't know if that makes me feel better. Are you are you
I'm
okay?
okay. I'm
Okay,
just
well
really
then sure.
overwhelmed. I was like, I had that album release show and I was like, literally just, I was just like, it was over. I was like, I can't believe this record is out. I don't know what to do. So I had to cry.
I think I think your music reminds me, or like the spirit of it strikes me about like the most like hopeful part of my life that I ever had. Like
Wow.
I I really it does it's like getting a montage of like all of the friends who have been very special to me and like that kind of stuff. It
This is what that's about. Just like actually being able to open up is really hard. Reaching out and opening up, especially when you're just like, I don't know how to explain this or this or this or this about why I just am the way I am.
damn. Don't you just love music?
Yeah,
Isn't it amazing?
it really is. I've also been listening to that song and God, I don't know how long, so long. Um, but yeah, that one is yeah, a special one.
Oh gosh.
Um, thanks for listening to it so
Thank you.
attentively. Really, like it means so much that anyone is even like listening to this record. And it's yeah, I'm really glad it's out.
I'm also very glad that it's out. I really
Thank you.
I really appreciate like your continued, you know, craft, but also like your willingness to be so open with where you are
Thank
and how you're
you.
feeling and stuff. So it's moving, you know. It is. That's like that is a very cool thing that like art and specifically music is capable of doing and
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that music, yeah, it definitely is like the fastest form of like reaching and moving people sometimes, like above any. I mean, I feel like it's like one of those things where like when you hear a baby cry, like what's your immediate reaction kind of? I kind of feel like music is like the same way where it's like you just can't help to be like overwhelmed by like auditory sense, like which I is the
Yeah.
coolest part about music to me.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean like
yeah.
it's funny cuz I through Anne I could feel like myself sort of like the sense memory of like when I listen to your record as a whole, because I don't listen to like singles really. I listen to like albums as a whole. That's how I listen to music.
Yeah.
And so like when I listen to your record, I listen to it start to finish, like always. And so it
I love
I would
that.
go through the same, journey when I would listen to it. And so like this, I was like, okay, gonna keep it together, gonna be chill, things are gonna be cool, not gonna have any issues. And then like we got like halfway through Anne, and I was just like, this is not gonna end well for me.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm
And I was
I'm
like,
really glad to know it's not moving
but and then
for
like right
you.
when it was getting done, and I mean, this is certainly moving for other people. I like if someone like just listens to the record front to back, it is very, it's soft and sweet and poetic and hopeful, but like dark, and it's not masking that like things are hard and that bad and hard things happen to people, but like it's also so truly optimistic in a way that I really appreciate as well, because it is like, it's hard to put yourself out there no matter what, like how you're feeling or anything like that. And if you are feeling mostly glum and like that things aren't good, and you put that out there, I think that that's also important, and that serves a purpose for you, and as well as like people who would discover and appreciate your artwork. But at the same time, like there is like another step that I think it is important for some art to take, and yours does, and that like it lays that out, and then goes, yes, but like, even if it is just you and I, like me making this and you receiving it, like we have at least that, as
Yeah.
like as a sense of like hope. This is like, you are here to receive this, and like, and you being here to receive that, it like makes it important that I am putting it out there, and that I have made it. Um,
Yeah,
and that I
I
have
really
said this
feel
thing.
that
Yeah.
way. Yeah, that's what I mean doing like what I'm saying. Like, it's like even listening to this, it's just like,
Oh, I've lost you audio wise, by the way. I can still like hear you, but you're super muffled.
oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay, cool. I took it. I had it on my foot or something. Sorry. Um,
I love that so much. That's funny. That's great.
my big socks are my big. I have really like thick, probably covering the microphone. But going back to that very serious and hopeful, wonderful thought. Yeah, that's how I feel even releasing it because I think, um, yeah, it's like it's. I think this album is like an intimate record. Like I think it's meant to be, obviously meant to be just like listened to alone. I mean, I like just realized too that that's the last word on the whole album, and it's a feeling that is often such a tough feeling alone. But and something I'm still like going through and struggling with day to day. But there are but everyone is because everyone really is like actually alone at the end of the day. But there are also beautiful parts to that, and I think like having a record to listen to on your own is like one of the best parts of life too. Like I love it's something that I like have constantly been doing for as long as I can remember. Like I can remember
Yeah.
like waking up in the middle of the night and like flipping the tape on my tape machine to like listen to Raffi again. Or like
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, I
Like
mean, I think it is a very personal thing. Like, I
yeah.
think that, I mean, obviously it's like a group activity as well. Like people can listen to music together, whether it's to like dance or you're at a party or whatever. I mean, like one of my favorite things to do in college was, with some friends of mine, and I would like turn all the lights off in a room, put like a decent like Bluetooth speaker in the middle of all of us, and we would all just lie down on the ground, around it,
Yeah.
uh, and just like lie there, and and I had a friend who we would do. There was this like a dance studio that people had access to, like where it'd be like midnight, and we'd go up into this like completely dark dance studio. We'd put on this like some Beatles on the sound system, and just like I always liked the Beatles, but like I had a friend who just like had just an incredible appreciation and understanding of them, that like those nights, where it would be pitch black with like just some moonlight peeking in through the windows, and people would just be like jumping around and like spinning and that kind of stuff like in the dance studio. I think those for sure like changed my own appreciation of music and of these artists like the Beatles, or like what my friends, whatever they wanted to put on. Dr. Dog was a big one. Like I remember I had just like a pivotal moment of listening to like Shadow People by Dr. Dog, where I was just like, this is
Yeah.
music, this is music.
Yes, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean that's so special. I feel like that, like what you're saying with like the dance studio in the dark and like going somewhere to like listen to, like that's like what I'm talking about, I guess, when I'm talking about like you were like in the car listening to like that band song. Oh my god, I cannot. The Wait, literally The Wait. It was like I was listening to it today at work. I mean, how many times does anyone listen to that song in their lives? Like, by the band, like, um, and we would like be listening to it, and I felt like I was like listening to it for like the first time in my life, like all the way up in this like falling apart car, like coffee spilling all over from like our open mugs. Like we're pulling into the like whipping into the parking lot to get out to run into the like just like, but I like felt I've like listened to that song so many times passively in my life, but I felt like when we were listening to it, we were all like we were just like listening to it like we had never listened to music. Like it was like so
Yeah.
awesome. But like we're talking about the same thing. It's like just such an interesting experience. And sharing that experience with other people is so cool and important. But yeah,
Yeah.
listening to music alone, I did that a lot. I mean, during the pandemic when I had time, I would just like literally put records on in my room, and just I had so much time. We all had so much time, and just lay down on my bed and like listen to full records I'd like never listened to before. And I got to know like so many artists that I'm like couldn't even believe I didn't know. Like I listened to like all of the Iris Dement things and like so much Kath Bloom, like all of these artists. I was like, how have I never listened to this music? Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, there's this is a little bit tangential, but there's this YouTuber that I really like, Joel Haver, who does like sketch videos, but also has like a separate YouTube channel that's like about film review stuff or like film appreciation. And he recently released like a video about like how, basically he said like, I love film so much and I love watching movies like the, and he was just like, if they stopped making movies like now, and I watched like movies every minute that I was awake for the rest of my life, I still wouldn't catch up to the amount of movies that have been made so far, or like that kind of thing. And he was just like, and a lot of people would, see something like that, and that would be like sad, or, they're, it would be, kind of daunting to think about. And a thing that used to like sort of eat at me back when I was in college, like thinking about like music, and every time I would find a new artist who like really spoke to me, was like this fear that there is like this perfect artist out there for me that I will just never
mm,
find. Um,
whoa.
and
Yeah.
and my perspective has like shifted extremely, in the sense in this Joel Haver video is like similar to that, where he was just like, yeah, but like, isn't it so special that like, these art forms are so democratized that like it can get away from you. And like in the pursuit of like the appreciation of the art form, you are now setting out and finding like people. It's no longer, oh, these films are the only ones that are playing in these movie theaters. You get what we show you. It is now you get what you find. And you are
Yeah.
like the master of your journey, and you are the one, like, if you want to find those artists that really speak to you, you go out and find them. Like,
I
and it's,
feel,
yeah,
yes.
I love
I
it.
know exactly what you're talking about. I feel like I think about this all the time. Like I think about this for myself, where I'm like, so many of my favorite artists are like Karen Dalton or like Linda Perhacs or like Syl Byer, like these people who like no one even listened to their music in the 70s or 60s or like literally cared at all. They like went off to be like, you know, well, dead or mothers. Maybe similar things to society,
Yes,
or to
yeah.
me to music, to the
The
industry of music.
industry, yeah.
but like and then they like went off to have these lives, and then people listen to their music later, and like someone like Linda Perhacs is just like a dental hygienist, and she's like 68, and she's like, oh, like all my music is like blowing up, like, but like I'm like, if my life or like something like this album is like this, or like someone finds this in like however many years, or like no one even listens to it now, but someone just like finds it at some point down the line, like really likes it, that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
Yeah.
that would be cool. Like, I feel like that's what music is for, and that's what my favorite music is. And I think like, yeah, it's just like crazy. Sometimes it's so like tough with it all because I think there's such a specific like per moment way to be like consuming music, or like trying to like get people to like consume your music or do this, or and it's just like
Yeah.
it's like yeah, like the movies, like this is the movies we're showing you right now,
Hmm.
or like yeah, like this is the music, or like all these things, and it's like so much cooler when you like find something, or like your friend shows you something, or I don't know, yeah, but
Yeah. I mean, that's why I like doing the listen alongs because like the amount of times, I mean, like not very many people watch these, but the amount of times that I've had people tell me that they like found artists that they'd never heard of before, or like they found like I've had people tell me that they found like their favorite artist from a listen along, and
yeah,
that's very special to me. I'm just like, I love that because like, I mean, it's
it
like your
is, yeah,
record, I like the chance to share this with like a person like feels very special to me.
that's how I feel. That's how I feel right now, where I'm like, I can't believe we're like talking about this. It's so cool. And it's one of those things where even like doing these things, like having these discussions, like having like hearing all these things about the way that you consume music or your relation to music or like whatever is just it's literally therapeutic. Like it's just like so nice to have this
I
conversation with
feel
somebody else. It
that's
doesn't
the
matter who
same
is
way.
watching it. To
Yeah,
me.
the way that you talk about music, like I think that's like why I was like wanted to talk a little bit about this like at the end of listening to your record, because I just the way you talk about how you make music, like why you make music, the way you make music is just it is like the story about the dance studio and that kind of thing is what I think of when I listen to your music. Like that sort of stuff, like those moments with my friends, like where it was like it it's like where you feel the pain to make art so bad that you just must, and like and sharing it, like that experience, like and collaborating with like as many people as you can, where it's like I have to get this out of me, or like you hear your friend like playing a song and you're just like that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Like you like you're I some the greatest songwriters I've ever like heard in my life, I went to college with all of them. That's like how I feel. I just there's so many people who are putting everything out of them,
Yeah.
everything that they can, and it's so beautiful. And I think that since college, it has become a little bit more industry minded for me, and because I think that like the only way to do like music as a living is to be able to market yourself in some way so that you can garner an audience that is big enough for you to make enough money so that you can do the next thing and the next thing. Or if you have like great aspirations for the way that you want to make your art, like a lot of times that requires a substantial amount of money, or at least support or backing, or like knowing and networking all of the right people. and uh,
All
and
of
that can
these
like
crazy
that can start
things.
feeling so limiting. But I don't judge artists for dipping into that world. I mean like
Yeah.
I do it all the time. I still try to catch myself when I get too far into that zone. But like especially with like TikTok now, and like YouTube, and like social media, Twitter, Instagram, that kind of stuff, I just like it is becoming like harder and harder to ignore as an artist when there is an avenue that could like launch your career. There is an avenue that could like make it so, I mean, if you have that pain in your heart where it says all I want to do is make music for the rest of my life, with like and do it with my friends and support other people who are making art, and like get into a position where I can keep myself and my friends alive
Hmm.
or or like comfortable, heaven forbid. Uh, and the only
Totally.
way to see that happening is through monetizing yourself. Like then things like the TikTok bump, things like, getting a fucking review from Anthony Fantano, things like getting a Pitchfork 7 or something like everything like that can just consume you. And it's not because all you care about is money, but
No.
it's because the only avenue towards what you want to do feels like money, and that sucks. And like and that's, I mean, like I said, like long-windedly, that's why I cannot judge an artist for making a corny TikTok. I
No.
wouldn't want to personally, like, and I'm sure a lot of them don't want to, but like, and I can't judge artists who are convincing themselves or like working around like somehow in their brain that like, you know what, actually I like making TikToks. Actually I enjoy marketing myself, and I'm just like, I don't blame you for getting to that point, because like, I mean, it's working for you, and if you get to the point where you can be comfortable and make the stuff you want to make and do the things you want to do and support the people you want to support, like I can't blame you. I can't.
No, you simply cannot. I know, and it's yeah, yeah, and it's like just all these things when you're young or you're a kid and like you're like listening to tapes, like I said, like in my little
I
radio.
I love that. I love so much that you're like, when you're a kid listening to tapes, and this, like, if I'm remembering correctly, you're not that old, which just makes this
I'm
very
not
funny.
that old. I'm not old, but it is like my first memory, like it's like the
Yes, no,
first
I
memory I have of
understand.
music where I'm like, I literally was probably like 4 years old, just like this is like a magical thing that I can like get up and do, or like I can't even believe this exists. Like this is so cool. But like you start that way, and then like you start like singing songs, like just because it's fun, and then you start like maybe learning an instrument or doing all these things, and like you don't know like what is going on, like actually to like continue to survive to do that. And it's kind of like, yeah, it's just like an obsession, like really. And I mean, like it's a passion, not I guess not like an obsession, but it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like it's like crazy to yeah to be to like yeah it's a lot for people, and I agree. I totally don't. I mean, I'm like doing that so much more than I ever have right now, and it's like it's really crazy because it's like my life is so different than like even when this record was made. Like I so tapped out. I was like not online really at all. I was like really present. And there are days sometimes where I like we were talking about this before we were live,
Yes,
everybody.
yes, yes.
But I was like, I am limiting myself on my phone for certain reasons, or like all the people I've talked to today are through DMs, besides my coworkers, or like everyone I have access today is through like my phone, maybe through social media, or maybe through calling or texting or whatever. But I've like spent my whole day alone, and I'm literally just like going through my day, like whatever, or like yeah, like promoting this record or doing like I'm just like I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on anymore. Like I don't even know what's happening. Compared to like making a song or like sitting down like making a song or like, all these things. But these things are awesome when you can talk to someone who like turns into a therapy session,
I mean,
like we're doing
yeah.
right now. That's the only way you can keep going. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, and I totally agree. I'm in the same boat. Like I think it's like it's like ever changing every second to figure out like how others are consuming you are consuming music and let us enjoy. Uh,
I
I think
lost
I
your
just
voice
yeah.
again.
Oh, sorry, it's my hands over the microphone. But yeah, I think that thing you said about the movie too, where it's like these are the movies you're gonna watch versus like now you have to go find all these movies because like they're over and now you just have to like figure it out yourself. And I think God, I mean that's how I find all of like my favorite artists. Like takes so much time. Like you guys spend so much time. Like even with like the that band Saturn, do you know them? They're like I'm obsessed with
Oh
Saturn.
yeah. Yeah, I think we're label
I
mates.
yeah, I think you are probably right.
Yeah. I think they're with Run for
Um,
Cover.
yeah, I'm obsessed with them. Like I love them so much. I watched them on a live stream that we played together, and I was like alone in my house doing this live stream, and I watched them play, and I literally was like, this is crazy. And then when that record came out, it like I just like listened to it so much. Like and it's just like I think there was at one point too when I was younger, like finding Kate Bush or like finding like just like random like like trying to find your
Yeah.
perfect artist, whatever. And maybe it's like out there and you'll never hear it, or it is kind of weird, but it's like so joyful that they just like keep coming and like you're just like, this is crazy. Like
It's
I just love this.
it's like a good song. It's like when you write a good song and it's like, or when you write a great song and you're just like, I will never top this. You're like, it's impossible. Like, and it consumes you and maybe it'll stop you from like enjoying writing music for a little while. And then you'll forget that that was ever a feeling that you had. And then you'll write in like a song that is better than that song. And you're like, what? And just out of nowhere, you're like, and like they're like the journey there, like part of that experience is so uh, wonderful. Oh, not Canadian Moose. Goodbye. Had to pop off. That's okay. Sorry. And other people, not Canadian Moose, to say even if I only listen to an artist during the listen along, it is always cool to hear the person talk about something that they care so much about. And then maybe Haley says, "Yeah, I love hearing people talk about stuff they're passionate about. It's always so interesting to listen to." So like, yeah, I mean, and people are on the same boat as us. Like, but what was I saying? Oh yes, fine. So like so part I mean like part of like the joy of like discovering music or like whether it's through recommendation of a friend or like if you just have the radio on or like whatever, like something that like truly captivates you, like I wrote a song that is called "The Night I Found Julian Baker I Almost Wrote This Song" because the night I found Julian Baker, it like changed me as a musician because I it like changed the way that I wrote music. It changed the way that I listened to music. It was like one of those artists for me that just hit me like so to my core in a way that I like if you got to the end of my life and you wrapped everything up and like some like higher entity told me like, okay, here you go, Julian Baker actually like was the artist for you. Like, out of all of the music in the world and like everything, like this was the one that you would connect to the most and like you found it. I would be like, that makes sense. But like then there's that other quality where it's like, okay, so but since then, like, Phoebe Bridgers I've really like connected to Phoebe Bridgers in like a strong way. Like I mean like even your music, but I like finding it and finding you, which I can't even remember how that happened. I think it was because Disposable USA, Disposable America, like cold DM'd me, being
They
like, "Hey,
probably
I
did
think,"
on Twitter.
yeah, they were like, "Hey, I think you would really like this EP. Like, check it out." And it wasn't even like a like I want you to do a listen along with this person. It wasn't even like a. They were like, "Can I just like send you an album if you're okay with that?" And I was like, "Please, yes." Like, and I'm so glad because like you're not on social media really, especially not at the time. And so
No, at
like
that
if that
time
hadn't
I was like,
happened,
nah. Yeah,
no.
no. I'm trying so hard now, but I was really not trying an album
Well, don't
forward.
try too hard. It's not
Yeah,
healthy.
it's not healthy. But there's so many people I do find that I'm like so stoked to be like participating in their thing too.
Well,
Like just like what you're saying. Like,
it's hard because like I don't think social media is a net positive for the world as it
no,
is,
probably
but
not.
I also like really value getting to connect to like
Yeah,
like
I know. This is how I feel too. Like I'm like I've been doing this too since I was so young. I mean, like I was on Tumblr when I was like 12 years old, like literally just like literally having friends on the internet that I would meet up with at music festivals and like just like doing this stuff like so intuitively. Like I know that sounds kind of dangerous and stuff, but it wasn't. It was like other
whatever.
cute young femmes. Like we were all like had no idea what we were going through. We still like follow each other, a lot of them on like Instagram even, or like, I'm not on Tumblr like that anymore, but I was. And, just like, and I was using it like Twitter, Instagram. I was using it like how I use all of these things. And yeah, and I literally had friends. Like I was literally seeking people out of like where at the small place I grew up to like find people who were more like into the stuff that I could connect with me. And so that's cool. But you're right. There's so many like dark things.
Yeah,
Tumblr in
I mean like
particular.
even
Yeah.
I mean even just like the stuff that's like that has come from I mean like Facebook or Instagram where, you know, just like doing life updates. Even that is like so dangerous because it like you're nobody's ever like purely like honest. And if they were, I feel like it would be too much. You know, like but like it's a heightened like hyperbolic version of your life that you're presenting to other people that is making them jealous, that is making you demoralized, and it's like and then like you're doing the same from them and you see somebody post something and you're just like, oh wow, like why can't that ever happen to me? Or like, oh, you know, when a good thing happens to someone else, like on social media it's so much harder to appreciate it. Like, but when a good thing happens to your friend, you're like, ah, fuck yeah, like yes, like that's awesome. But like yeah, I just like I've experienced stuff like that, and you know I mean they've done studies obviously with like Instagram, especially with kids, where they're like even removing the ability to like each other's pictures,
Oh, yeah.
it increases like the or like decreases like the depression from being on social media, and it's like gamifying it, like making consumers the product. It has just it is
It is
it's
an
a
awful
horrible
capitalistic
yeah
scheme. It is a
yeah it's
horrible
a there's a horrible way to
product of
exist.
capitalism. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's like it's really messed up. But yeah, it's crazy. I agree with you. I think it's like it's so intense too because a lot of it is just like half of it is just like not even real to like the gain, like the actual like there I feel like there are totally people like making money from social media, we know, but compared to like the amount of people who are on it, like pretty few actually are. Like you know what I mean? And it's like so bad because I feel like they like almost make it like the stakes for everybody else is like they are like gaining from this and they're like literally not gaining from it in that way at
Yeah.
all. And like they're not people aren't even on it to think that they like are gaining they want to be gaining it for like security, but they like are on it trying to gain security from everyone else. But they're not even like gaining security half the time. Like some people are, the people who are in control of it and who are making money from it. But that's the
Yeah.
1% of people. And it's like the mass amount of people we see on those platforms. And it's just like crazy. It's like, okay, well, like this isn't good for most people who are on it. So like what? This isn't even
Yeah.
real. Like this is like or like real in the
No,
way
I
that
understand.
the USA or the World Cup and tells you what real is. You know what I mean? But it's like this whole crazy scheme that people think is real. It's like it's so challenging. It's like same with me, especially at this level. I'm like yeah, I'm like so confused like all the time about what I'm doing
Yeah.
online or how I am supposed to be communicating.
I mean,
This
I went through a
music,
whole
like
journey. Yeah.
yeah,
I
um,
yeah.
yeah. No, everyone does. I think it's really important. Everyone has their own time with social
I
media.
mean, yeah. I mean, I came to it late and then I was like this seems really cool. And then you know, the ego of it and I that's something I still like. I mean, I struggle with that like even as like the quote unquote like host of this show. Like I really struggle with like centering myself. Um you know, like I constantly am like, am I the right person to be like introducing this music and like doing these interviews and like this kind of stuff? Like maybe like wouldn't it be great if I could just like pass this idea off to someone else who didn't have that urge to like want to be the center of attention? Do you know what I mean? Like
No, but you are because you're like actually doing this. Like even when I was thinking about it, when you just said that you've done 50 of these, I'm like, I don't know anyone who like has done that or like thinks about doing that. And I know there are like a whole group of people who, whatever, like bloggers, like people who do this. I have no idea. Like I don't know. I'm sure you
sure.
know so much more than me. But I'm like, I genuinely in my life like don't know one person who would like want to sit down and like listen to me talk over this album. Like I don't know. Like I don't know them. It's like it's you. Like it's you. And it's like not because you're the center of attention, it's because you're like literally just like lifting the album up and like asking people at the beginning of this live stream to like buy my CD because it's the only thing that actually helps this music. like at
Yeah.
all. Like, you know what I mean? And anyway, like it's just so bad, but like true, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like
So
it's either that or you make a TikTok every day and try to get your music blow up that way. I actually like I think before the stream I was talking about this too, but or maybe well, you'll if you spend any amount of time with me, you'll hear me say I found this thing on YouTube like over and over and over again because that's the thing that I watched the most. But like there was this video essayist named CJ the X that Jay recommended to me. Jay, the front person of the band, recommended me this video essayist CJ the X who talks a lot about art and like in similar ways to, but like extremely intellectually to the way that you and we're I think we're talking mostly emotionally right now, but like it's a very like intellectual breakdown of art and that kind of thing. And
whoa.
one of the things that they say like that they talk about in a video that I absolutely love that was like a catalyst for me trying to like tear down ego, like try to like rip myself from social media in like some capacity was and like a thing I was struggling with without realizing I was struggling with it was when the way that you promote your art changes the way that it's received, which seems obvious. But like, if
Yeah,
somebody
but
finds your music by happenstance or like by looking for it, like we were talking about earlier, like finding music for yourself, like going out, like, that changes the way that they listen to that artist, that album. Then like if they are scrolling on TikTok and they see an artist go like, oh, I just wrote this certified like banger, 20,000 likes, and I release it, like that kind of thing. Like it fundamentally, even if the song is like the same, and even if it is as good as it is, that changes the way that your audience interacts with it. That changes the tone and the way that they receive the artwork and like your music and that like that's like a big like hard thing I think that people have to reckon with, especially when like marketing yourself, it seems like the only way to not just live and die by serving tables, and like not ever getting to be able to do your artwork because you have to work 60, 70 hours a week. And even if you are working, like I've had jobs, portions of my life where I've only, I had a 40-hour full-time job, 40-hour a week full-time job. But even that is like so much. And like I was working in a warehouse, I would come home, I would try to sneak in like a workout because I try to keep myself like healthy, and I'd do that, and then I would be so exhausted that I wouldn't want to do anything. And
that's
that's
like
like
me
so
kind of
hard.
right now. Yeah,
Oh yeah, are you there?
that's yeah, totally. I'm like working this job that I totally love in a lot of ways, but like definitely just like need to work 40 or more hours to continue to live in New York City.
Yeah.
And even that
Yeah.
is barely enough money to like continue to live here. And then like totally invested so much money in this like album, which everyone does. So it's like that's cool. It's like your passion's the thing you love to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
You like do that. But like anytime I like do more things for music, I'm always like, okay, like this is kind of stressful. And then I like do that's what I do when I get home from work is like I'm literally just doing music pretty much. Like, which is a lot. Like it's like, it's
Yeah.
definitely and like I was saying before, like even writing songs, I'm like I like have ideas. If I'm alone at work, I'm like gonna record the voice memo while I'm alone at work because I'm like don't have like you know what I mean? Like it's like you have to do that or else it will go away. The idea will go away. Or like on your walk home from work,
Yeah.
you have to be like doing it. And then when you get home from work, you have to come home and like maybe eat something and
Right.
then get to
If
it.
you have
Like you
time.
gotta like yeah, like even now I'm like I like worked for 10 hours today and then I will eat after this. Like this is just
Well,
what's
yeah. I
happening.
mean,
But
when we
it's
first before we started streaming, you were eating pineapple.
yeah, no, yeah, that's my vibe right now. But yeah, it's like definitely really challenging. And I think it's like a huge it's like people like can't do this unless they have support. It's like impossible. Like even the other
Yeah.
night I was cleaning up all my stuff from the end of my show. I had like 2 guitars, a giant amp, and a huge box of merch. And I sold some of the merch, but I didn't sell enough to make that box lighter. And I turned around, it was 1 in the morning, I'm at the venue, I'm completely alone. and I literally am just like almost in tears because I'm like, I can't like carry this stuff. Like I literally like cannot carry this. I can't do it myself. And I turn around and my friend's there, and I just like start sobbing because I'm like, oh, I literally just like need someone to help me. Like I just like need help. Like it's just like people can't do this unless they have help. It's like impossible. Whatever
Yeah.
that is. It's like,
And I
you
mean,
know.
like, yeah, I mean, I must be on one right now because you just like telling that story. I'm like, it chokes me up a little bit
It's
because I'm
yeah,
just
I mean
like, oh,
it's
like I do feel that. I mean, it's true. Like,
I'm
and
sure you've been there. It's like plenty the way it is. It's like
yeah, I mean, I think about like with the success that Glass Beach has and like how far we've come and like, you know, the
yeah.
numbers of it all and like the fact that like four of the five members are all still like working full-time jobs basically. Like, you know, like
Yeah, you're like
it's like wow, how far do you have to get? Like,
yeah, like what else do we gotta do here? Like, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. I feel that way so much. I that's how I feel. 'Cause sometimes I'm like, I don't even know, like continuing to keep going is like totally been a reckoning for me in the past 2 years of this album too. Has like been waiting. Like it's been a challenge.
And, and it's wild. Some of the most like level-headed like loving life, loving music people that I've met are ones who I mean, it's like obviously ones who are making a living from it. You know, like it's like a solo artist who is like about as big as like we are, if not a little bit like less or something. But they're one person, so you know they have enough income coming in with where they're like comfortable and they can just like
Mhm.
make music for a living and they love it. Like you know, that's great. But then other people that I've seen are people um like Proper, the band Proper. I know like they have like jobs that they like, uh, or like Cheek Face, like Proper Cheek Face. I've had conversations with all of them where they're just like, oh, I never see like music as like a career or something like that. Like that's like not the goal. That's like I'm not like betting on that. Like I just like making music. I want to keep doing it, and I'll work my job because I like my job or something. It's like there's Leonardo Divorcio also like sort of has this opinion, and like
Mhm.
they're super great people and like so nice, and you know, talking to people like that is nice, but like I can't help but think in the back of my mind, like, yeah, but I want that for you. You know, like I want you to be able to, like I want there not to be this like
Yeah.
blockade like preventing
Yeah.
you from even if it's like you don't want to do it 24/7, sure, like you don't want to sit in at a DAW on your computer just like oh plug in a microphone like record a little acoustic guitar and some stuff and then you're doing that like with your whole life. But like right now people for the most part they're like oh when I have free time, you know, then I make music. It's like okay, well what if you made music and in your free time you got to enjoy your fucking life? Like like what if that was
Dude,
the
yeah.
reality?
It's literally not. It's literally
Yeah.
not. Even on the stuff for this album, like this summer, my job like closed for 2 weeks. Also say I'm an hourly worker. They were like, oh yeah, you can still work if you want in these 2 weeks. But I was like, well, no one's gonna be here and it's like New York City, it's 1,000 degrees. I'm just going home. So I like went back to Massachusetts and like worked at the flower farm. And then we made these music videos, which I also like cost some money, not like as much as
Paid
it
for,
probably should,
yeah.
because I worked with someone my own age who like did this. But like in my 2 weeks of the year that I like have, I'm like I just like this is what I'm doing. Like that's fun for me. Like that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Or like maybe it isn't even like completely fun because it's also kind of stressful, but like it's like that's like I'm not gonna like do something different with those 2 weeks or like whatever. Like you know, like that's what people who like are doing music do, kind of, I think. And like yeah, it would be cool to like having your own life, like and with family too, that's like a very important thing to me. But it's like, yeah, it's challenging. It's really hard to have it all, I think. Um
Yeah.
yeah.
And
But I think
I would
yeah.
love like I would love to get to a point where like someone like you and I could you have enough free time or like enough like comfortability with our lives where, you know, we get together not to discuss music, or like where there's like an avenue where it's just like, oh, we're just chilling, like, or something,
Yeah,
you
like
know.
yeah, no, I know. It's so true.
Like that kind of thing,
Yeah.
because I feel that with like a
Yeah.
lot of like so much is I think part of it is that like it feels like scarcity of like resource, the resource of like time. And when I see somebody that I like really appreciate, and I, you know, the first thought is always like, I want to collaborate with you. Like, I don't want to be your friend, but like, just like, I love like what you're making. I wish we could do something together. And like, I think that purely comes from like, I just don't have time. I just like, I'm like working so much that I'm like, I can't think about just hanging out with you as much as I would love to do that, because like, if I spend this time hanging out with you, I don't get to make something with you. I don't get to like do something like with you. And to like what you were just saying about your music videos, by the way, I actually like, I don't know, hot take, I hate that people think music videos should cost money. In fact, like maybe this is gonna, I don't know what this is gonna sound like, but like I don't think that artists should be paid. Is like, I just kind of like, I understand the necessity of that being a thing that people advocate for, but I think it is removing people's ability to just make art together. Or like think
Oh
like
yeah. Yeah, totally.
like
Yes.
I mean if you're a company and you're hiring artists, you should definitely pay them. Like, you know, whatever. But if you're like an artist, if you're like, it reminds me of when what was it, Prince Daddy and the Hyena like made a call out to like fans if they played like specific instruments and that they wanted to have on their record, and they were like, hey, like, do you want to appear on this record? And there's like an element of that's like, okay, is that like exploiting your fans to like get something? And it's just like, well, I personally don't think so, whatever, but that's like a conversation for another group of people. But to me, I'm just like, people were like criticizing them for like not paying these people to be on the record, and I'm just like, what happened to people just making stuff together? Like, what I would like,
Yeah.
I shoot music videos for people for free, because not because like I don't value my work. I not because like I also get paid to do video work. I do. But if I like, if there's an artist who I know I can like make a video for, and it's like going to be great to collaborate together, and it's like, and they deserve good art to accompany their good art, you know? Like, people deserve accessibility to like reaching the full potential of like what they can make with their art. Like, I think lo-fi is great. I think that like DIY stuff is wonderful, but like what you were saying before, you can't do it alone. Like, you need support in certain aspects, and for me, I prefer to view that as like like a passionate aspiration to like make things together instead of like a transaction.
Yeah, definitely. No, I know. It's kind of interesting. I feel like I have a pretty that is like, yeah, that just like is, it's so hard to figure out that path, because I think for myself as a person, I say this all the time. I've been continuing to say this like all the time, especially when I'm like convincing myself in these moments where I'm like doing this or like whatever, I'm like putting out the idea. Like, my favorite thing in life to do is like literally make things with other people. Like, that's why this record was such a joy to make. It's because I had this like group of people that I was like basically in love with and obsessed with, that was just gonna like make this with me. And it was like working towards a goal to like create and make something is like my favorite thing to do in my relationships. Like, it's like how I've been living forever. Like, even when I was younger, I was like with my siblings. I like said this yesterday. I'm talking to someone, but like I would like we would like make a fort with sticks in the woods, and like we'd be like making something, or I would be like literally like whittling a bow and arrow or some weird fucked up thing we were doing, like, but we were like making something together, or we would be like writing a play and like putting it on for like the neighborhood, or just like doing these sorts of things. Like, we were constantly doing things as a group together, and like this is just like always the way that I've like wanted to have relationships, and like that is like what like love is to me. Like, in a lot of ways, it's like working together to like do this thing that we like make together, that we like love. And I think it's so hard to like figure that out in your life when you start thinking about these things, and like thinking about like, oh, what does this person deserve? Because like they're like doing this at a level that's more professional than me, or like, what I'm making like good enough if I did it in my room on my own? Like, it's just like so hard to like figure out your confidence and like the level at which that like feels okay. And I think like for me too, like especially even now, like trying to like play with a band or like just like do any of this stuff is like so challenging because it's like time is limited. And like that's why in this album we literally just had time. Like the people I made this with like literally had nothing else to do. All of the other bands were like on pause. They literally just like fully committed 100% to this. And like they probably weren't even almost thinking about it. They just like the world literally just didn't give them time to think. Like they literally just like happened to be there. I happened to be writing so many songs and they happened to just like dive into the record. And sometimes it feels like that will never happen again, which is how we're going back to the thing where it does always happen again. And you have to
It
like
does always
believe
happen
that.
again.
It
Yes.
does, but it's like so hard sometimes when you like go back and you're like how can I do this? Like how can I ask this person like show up to the show or I like can maybe pay them like $20 max? Or like how can I ask them like Uber their amp to this fucking random venue and like not even give them money for it or like play these songs that they don't even like care about or like it's like just all these things are like and like they do but you just don't know and like there's so much like constant communication and like reaching out and openness that you need to have and that is also like so exhausting depending on who you are and if you're me and you got older and a lot of your confidence when you were a child like went away you're like damn I don't know like do you like want to do this or do you is this song even good like do you even want to play this or like it's like so yeah yeah and so it's just hard and I always think everyone deserves everything so it's
Yes.
hard and then when you get back to yourself you're like what does that mean for me I don't know I guess I gotta think about it you know which I'm sure like we're going through different things at different points, depending on like
Yeah.
resources or like the way your project is like working with your bandmates, like whatever. But like it's probably not that different. Like I'm sure we have a lot of similar thoughts, like all like
Yeah.
artists I
I
think
mean,
do.
I think so. I mean, like even like from music to like physical artwork or like that kind of. I think there's a lot of crossover that like even someone who like whittles or whatever, someone's like
Yeah,
making little
totally.
like
That's how I
woodworking
feel.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel like with flowers right now too, where I'm like, it's like the same thing. Even like watching these people like run this business that I'm a part of right now, I'm like, it's the same damn thing. It's just like a little different, you know? It's,
Yeah.
yeah, but and it's all like based off this beautiful thing, but just industrialized because that's just the way life is.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, true. But yeah, but it's cool. It's like, you know, it all ends up being works out. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I was talking to somebody. This was mostly about like trans issues, like stuff recently. But like, I mean, like, there's. I'm sure I ripped this from somewhere. I just like. It's like a quote. It's a quote. But like, there's like, we were talking obviously about like the the trans bills that are getting passed and the stuff that's like targeting all of these like queer folks and um I like a conversation we had ended with that like the phrase it's not enough to survive like we have to live and a way that you do that is by like supporting each other like I think that as an artist like genuinely as an artist I think you have an obligation to support the other artists around you I think that that is
Totally.
like a responsibility yeah and because that's like the only way any of us are going to get anywhere like
It's
unfortunately
so
it's
true. Yeah.
yeah
We're up against a lot and it's like we're going through the same type of stuff. So it's like, why not?
and I mean that's like obviously that's like true I'm because of anything like class consciousness like disability resources like helping just people in general but I do think like a lot of times when it comes to like something that can be a career instead of like who a person is like I think the communities around like helping disabled people or helping like queer people it's like that is like it's you can't industrialize that You can't make a career. Well, you can make a career out of doing that, but like it's not like a career driven thing. So like there's nothing to like muddy the like moral waters there. So like you're helping queer people. It's like, okay, we I get where that comes from. But like helping other artists, I think because it's an industry, because it's a career, because it is like I think that it is so easy to get pit against each other instead. And in a
Yeah.
way that makes like moral and like ethical sense to yourself. I think it is easy to convey like, oh well, I need mine. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
and so
Yes.
so it becomes or like that idea of like, well, okay, well, I'll get mine first and then I'll like go back and then I'll help or like whatever. It's like when I have the
Yeah.
resources, I'll do it. But like I think that
So
that is like a
true.
capitalist trap. I just think that's like I think that
Yeah,
that
it
is it's
is.
designed to make it almost like all those like older people who are still like grasping onto the like you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like just like hoping that they become millionaires one day if they work hard enough. It's like the same kind of mentality to me where I'm like, you're fooling yourself, and at
Yeah,
the
it's like
same
acting out
time,
of fear,
yeah. Hmm.
which is
Yes.
yeah, which is a controversial thing too because like so many people are just like set up or like so many people who don't just like have things are act like have to act out of fear and so that's really tough.
Yes.
But I do
Yeah, yeah,
think the
yeah.
fear is like instigated by people who are levels up or like yeah like people who are like for us
Yes.
like too like in the music industry being like okay this is how it works this is what like even at like my job I feel like it can be like that with like the flower thing I'm doing where like
Yeah.
the like the like hashtag this isn't really what my work is like but there is an element especially just like in New York whatever like hashtag girl boss stuff like going on like you know what I mean like just like things where it's like, well, this happened to me, so it's gonna happen to you now too. Or like this is like I remember when I was there at that point as an artist, so good luck and figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? It's like
I,
just
th- I
kind of
think
like
paying your dues in like any industry is like the silliest shit on the planet. Like
it's
the
literally
idea of paying
just
your dues, like,
straight up made up. It's made up. It's
yeah.
just straight up made up. It's like awful. It's a really bad thing that people do. Um, yeah. And I don't know, like I say this too, but then I always feel like so young saying this, but I think you're right. I think yeah, and I think with music too, going back to it, like going back to a lot of it is like so much of it is just like supporting each other is essential because like so much of it is like not even like real in a way. Like it is real because like what everyone making is like so real, but it's so like not even how a lot of people are surviving. So it's like
Yeah.
a and no one is open about it. So it's really like hard to figure it
Yeah.
out too when you're and like even in like a day-to-day way. Like I don't mean like everyone has to be like I remember being really like appreciative when like Carly from Wednesday shares their how much they make on tour from their
Yeah. Yeah.
tours.
Yeah.
Like a sheet of like their profits and like how they have to pay out the people who they
Yeah.
work with. And like I don't know about that because I don't have that going on like in this that but it's like really helpful as someone who's like an artist to see and like kids like people who are like, you know, 5 years younger than them who think they might want to be in a band, like hopefully they see that so that they know like
Yeah.
kind of what they're like they might be like they could get into. Um it's
Or
just
at
like
least
yeah.
like then they could be like, I see what you're spending money on, and I know my own comfort levels with like tour. Like I would be okay like sleeping on a floor or whatever. Like
Yeah.
okay, so this is how much it costs to you. Well, then I can factor in like these things about myself and these things that I'm comfortable with, the ways that I could do tour, and then determine like maybe how much I would be able to do. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And I think that's like so informative and like helpful to each other.
Yeah. No,
And no one
access
is
to
like telling,
information
yeah,
is invaluable. Yeah.
totally. Yeah. And I think it's hard sometimes, like in a like industry that like is masking a lot of like the reality of like what is going on. And I also say this too because I feel like I went to school for music and I feel like so much of it was just like crazed. Like, like
Yeah. The struggle of it or something. Yeah.
yeah, or like just like the way that my older professors and like by the end of it, I was like I did not take from one male professor like that last year my whole time at school on purpose because I was just like I literally cannot listen to another 50-year-old man who like has been in this industry way before me and who's like never seen someone like me in this industry like talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Like, and I just think that's like, yeah, that kind of stuff's like, yeah, you just have to like figure it out. And it takes a long time to figure it all out for everybody. So I don't know. But yeah, whoa, we got into a crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think oh my gosh, overzealous just popped in. Love that. Well, I don't know how long you've been here, Austin, but hello. Uh, and on that, like, thank you also, Austin, and thank you, Carolyn. I think I'm gonna wrap us up now. I'm gonna take us out. I could probably talk to you for the rest of the night, but you're on the East Coast, so it's getting rather late there, and I think you still
I
need to
gotta go eat
eat.
dinner. Yeah,
Yeah.
my rice is still simmering from 2 hours ago,
Okay.
but I think it's probably
Let's wrap
fine.
this up.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. I mean, really, I do appreciate it. I love talking about this stuff, especially with, people who think about it.
Oh, I think about it. I know you do too. We
Yeah,
are all thinking it. So
we are.
yeah, thanks for listening to the album. Got really off track, but
And
like in a good way.
yeah. And then anybody who's still here, like all two of you, if not, or something, I don't know. Anybody who got to this part in the conversation, I hope you also, if you think about similar stuff to like what we were talking about, I hope that it was like at least like also relatively therapeutic to hear us talk about it because I mean, it just feels good to talk about this kind of stuff sometimes, and I think it's really important and a lot of good stuff to say. So I'm going to go to a screen where you are no longer. Okay, Carolyn?
Cool. Yes, that's great.
Okay,
Bye.
but we will still be able to hear you, but I'm going to go to a screen where we won't see you. So, and
Cool,
we'll
cool.
do a final goodbye thing. So here I am. It's just me. Okay, cool. Well, thanks everybody for being here. This was great. Again, like, go check out the Carol's Bandcamp, and again, there are cassettes and CDs, hats, apparently T-shirts on the way, which I will be checking out, honestly, because I've been wanting a piece of merch from you for a while, and I don't wear a lot of hats, but so a shirt on the other hand, that's it. Wait, what's the color of the shirt?
It's brown.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, I see. I don't like wearing black or white, like just period, like across the board, but especially like
We
band
thought
tees and
about
stuff like
people
that. I'm
like
like,
you.
thank you. Thank you. You know what? I'll buy all of them. I'll buy no, no, I won't, but I definitely want to get a shirt from you. And with that said, yeah, I do a bunch of these. They're on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you found them. If you're watching this on Twitch, you're watching this on Twitch, and you can check that out if you want to. It's the Second Glass Beach channel hosts all of these. This will go up as a VOD on that YouTube channel at a later date. I still need to put up the previous one with Derek Ted before this one goes up, but I'll probably just put them up in tandem. And then I have another listen along on March 7th with Ursa Major, which is the YouTube channel Illymation. It's Ilyssa's music project. So March 7th, we're going to be going over Ursa Major, and it's great. Austin says got to tie dye all your white shirts. Actually, yes, yeah. Austin, when you come to visit for around Jonas's birthday and stuff, if you're like here, maybe you can help me tie dye my shirts. Okay, I'll say bye to you off stream, Carolyn, but I'll say bye to everybody else right now. Goodbye. Have a good time. I'll see you hopefully the next time I do one of these, and if not, then the next time I do an artist that you're really interested in, or pop in or whatever. Okay, bye everybody. Bye. I'm gonna go to the end screen now. Bye bye now. Bye. Oh, thank you for the stream. Thank you. thank you for being here. I don't know how long you were here, but okay. Goodbye now. Bye, everybody. Do you want to say bye, Carolyn?
Bye.
Okay, bye.